The fast way to get an hourglass figure at any shape. It's 2025 and summer's around the corner. I'm going to show you how to fast forward your transformation to quickly get the hourglass figure. I've done this for my clients, my sister, and now my beautiful wife. And she finally got to see her abs for the first time and she completed her hourglass figure in 90 days. We used the sustainable and science-based approach. But don't get me wrong, it was simple but not easy. I'm gonna give you the exact plan she followed, no guesswork. And I used the formula that I created called the mechanical rules of fat loss. And things move quickly, so you can just copy and paste her program and fast forward your transformation. Between the two photos, she's dropped 14.2 pounds. My name is Dr. Michael Diamonds. I'm a scientist, I'm a medical doctor, and a pro natural bodybuilder. My wife is my co-founder, and these are the 5 rules that we use. And I've used it on all of my clients, including my mom, my sister, Sandra, Kathy, Trish, Dr. Ruth. The list is endless. Let's not waste time and dive straight in. Mechanical rule number 1 is called mental fitness. Ladies, you need to be mentally fit before you can be physically fit. Your body will always follow your mind, and no one talks about this. So the first step is to learn how to make good decisions to get that hourglass figure. So let me explain. The word decision comes from the Latin root de, which means from, and caedere, which means to cut. Making a true decision means committing to achieving a result and cutting yourself off from any other possibility. You need to be all in, because here's the truth. On the flight to that hourglass figure, there's going to be turbulence. So for example, you're gonna go to Starbucks when you're tired. Do you order the caramel frappuccino because you're having a sugar craving, or just straight up black coffee? At dinner, do you order burgers and fries because your kids are ordering that? Or do you get the steak and salad instead? Or your friends are hitting you up for drinks? Do you order the strawberry daiquiri or the sugary filled cocktails? Or do you just stick to maybe 1 or 2 shots of tequila, or even better, just sparkling water? Where do you draw the line? Or maybe you've just been stuck for a month, and this happened with my wife and she's gonna share her experiences now. No change on the scale. Do you throw in the towel? Or do you double down? Even my client Sandra had this exact same moment, and take a look at what happened with her. And week 4, no weight change, right? So 4 weeks passed, Sandra, and we're working together and you saw no weight change, right?
Yeah.
The lowest weight you'd seen was like 205. Your diet adherence was up. You were getting 14K steps. You're training 4 out of the 7 times. We only lost a pound and we were increasing cardio. Why was that we were like doing so many things, but there was just no weight change in the first 4 to 5 weeks?
It didn't want to go. It was being stubborn.
Yeah. And she could have quit, but that was her turning point. That was literally the last dig that she needed for her hourglass figure. She did it all at home. She never went to the gym once. And wait till the end, because I'll literally give you her training plan, Sandra's meal plan, and cardio routine, all of it. Let's have a look at what my wife experienced when she hit a plateau. I know that when I was coaching you, a month passed, no results. We were on the treadmill walking. I could see it on your face that you're just pondering, why am I even wasting my time? What was like going through your mind? 1 month, no results.
Okay, well, that's exactly what was going through my mind. I felt very frustrated. To be honest, I felt very annoyed. Like, why am I wasting my time? Why am I working so hard? I'm putting so much effort in. I'm not seeing it pay off, which was very discouraging, very demotivating. And I think the conversation we actually had that day, right? That one was, it was very powerful. That was the turning point for me. Talking about the why I want to do it, what was the deeper motivation behind this transformation, and really saying it out loud for the first time was necessary to push through that sticky point. And for me, I guess it was twofold, right? The first why was more obvious, more surface level. And that
what was that?
It was that essentially you asked me a great question. You asked me whether I'm just going to give up just because it's difficult.
Yeah, I remember saying, like, what happens if you just go through another 1 or 2 months with no results? What are you going to do?
Yes, and that's actually something that we also ask our clients, right? Like, what is going to happen if you don't change anything? And it's such a powerful question, and I realized that it would mean just giving up fully on the idea that I'm ever gonna get in the best shape of my life. Because is it ever going to be easier than it is right now? Probably not. It's not going to get easier, right? I'm the youngest I'll ever be. I didn't have kids yet. I'm far from my menopause. As I age, it will only get more difficult, just being realistic. So right now is actually the best time to do it. And yeah, I just decided that I didn't want to quit.
So with my wife, with Sandra, with all of my clients, we hack your decision-making process with this simple trick that I'm about to share. And here's how it works. Week 1, with all of my clients, we do a start with why exercise. We take a pen and paper, no fluff, and we write down 10 to 20 reasons of why you want that hourglass physique. Usually the first few are very surface level. I want abs, I want to look good in jeans, which is fair enough, right? But you should keep going. When you get to number 5 or 6, usually the real stuff starts to pour out. I want to be irresistible to my partner. I want my kids to see me as a role model. Or I want to have more energy with them. I want to have unshakable confidence. So the next time that you're at a crossroad, it's easy to make a good decision because you're going to think about your kids or your husband or any of the reasons you decided to be your main why.
My mom, she's 50. She's turning 55 this year, and she went into menopause last year, and she gained 25 pounds of weight because of her, sleep issues, hormonal changes, and she was very upset with it. She really wanted to lose weight. She was feeling down and discouraged, and I really wanted to lose weight to inspire her, to give her an example of someone who, even though they were frustrated, and it wasn't working for them, I pushed through and I managed. And I also wanted to be able to relate to her better because I would understand her better if I could do it myself. And yeah, that was my second motivation. And I think that probably a lot of women will resonate with that because that's just how it is for a lot of women. We find a lot of motivation in keeping our family members happy and healthy. We do a lot of things for them in a good way. And there are things you wouldn't even do for yourself, but you do them for your kids, for your mom, for your, for your husband, for your wife. And yeah.
Once you see those changes in the mirror, it will validate all the hard decisions you had to make. And listen to what some of my clients have to say. At Sculpt by Science, we have a mantra called trust the process.
Like you guys know too, I was the biggest naysayer. So it was just kind of like I let him do all the legwork and then watched him and feel better. Yes, the results were there too, but he felt better. He slept better. It was just a lot. It was, I noticed a lot more than just the weight coming off with him and him getting stronger.
Do you feel those same things translated to you at the end?
I do. Yep. It took me a bit to get all in 100%, but once I trust the process, like I think I've said 800 times, but once I got my mindset around it, I definitely feel much better.
And ladies, if you've achieved your transformation, let us know in the comments and share with us how important it was for your mindset to see that transformation happen. So comment down below, and it may even motivate one lady out there reading your story. So share it with us. Let's move on into the science, and I'll show you exactly what to eat for the hourglass figure. Mechanical rule number 2, the hourglass deficit. To shrink your waist, it will be through diet, and I'll show you later what to do for your upper and lower body. Getting an hourglass figure fast doesn't just mean eating less food, and this is actually the biggest mistake ladies make. They starve themselves. There's only 2 parts to being in a caloric deficit: the calories in, what you eat and drink, and the calories out, what you burn each day. But the problem is this: most of the time ladies think that when they're starting a deficit that they only focus on the first part of the equation, which is to eat less food. And let's be honest, most of the time you're starving yourself. That's the extreme. And for women, this is terrible because cortisol, the stress hormone, actually makes your body store fat instead of losing it. Or they think that they can burn more calories through exercising more, doing hours of cardio on the treadmill. But that's not true at all. Your calories out can also be called your TDEE, or your total daily energy expenditure. It's a scientific breakdown of where you burn calories in a day. And this part is the shocking part. Exercise is the smallest piece on top. It burns the least. with majority of what you burn coming from places that aren't the things that you do in the gym. So simply starving yourself or doing crazy amounts of cardio isn't the smartest way to go about it. It would make more sense to focus on the bigger pieces to create a deficit. So for example, the calories you burn from things that aren't necessarily exercise, which is called your non-exercise movement. These are things like walking more, standing more, and you'll be shocked that this burns 3 times more calories compared to working out and doing cardio. The calories you burn from digesting food you eat, which is 10%, like eating more protein. Eating more protein burns 6 times more calories compared to digesting the carbs and fats. Or all the other things that increase the biggest part, your basal metabolic rate, which is 70% of the equation. This is building more muscle, sleeping more, and stressing less. So let's tackle the first piece of the equation without starving yourself, the diet. So calorie intake. Follow along and you'll be able to do this for yourself. This is the fastest diet for the Hourglass Figure. So these are Sandra's metrics. I'll use her as an example, and I'll also put my wife's as an example just to juxtaposition things. So Sandra's 37 and my wife is 29. The starting weight for Sandra was 204 pounds. Her height, 5'7", and she was training 5 times per week. I consider this person to be active. So now we can figure out Sandra's macros, and macros are just the amounts of protein, carbs, and fats that you eat each day. So for Sandra, who weighs 204 pounds and wants an hourglass shape, she wants strong shoulders, a wide back, and a slim waist and toned legs. And here's what we're gonna do. Protein. Think of protein as the clay that will help you shape your hourglass. So Sandra will eat 204 grams of protein. That's exactly 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for my wife, she started at 128 pounds. She ate 128 grams of protein. And I know you're probably thinking, that's so much protein to eat, but the secret sauce for muscle building is protein. So don't stress. I'm gonna show you how to hit 200 grams of protein easily in just a little bit. Now, let's talk about fats. This is the foundation of looking healthy, youthful, and also optimizing your hormonal profile. With all my ladies, I love starting at 50 grams. So that's your number. Just start at 50 grams of fats. This will keep your hormones happy and also your immune system happy. And then finally carbs, which most people think it's your enemy, but it's actually your best friend. And it's going to help you fuel your workout, give your brain the energy it needs to think clearly, and your performance overall. So here's quick math. So we know that Sandra's total calories are 2,000. We know how many calories she's getting from protein and how many calories from fats. So we just need to figure out for X to be able to figure out her fats. So we know 1 gram of carb is equal to 4 calories, 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat is equal to 9 calories. So all we do is take 204 grams of protein, multiply by 4, and fats, 450 grams of fats multiplied by 9. So subtract those numbers from 2000. So that will be 2000 minus 816 minus 450, which is 734 calories left for carbs. Since carbs are 4 calories per 1 gram, we take 734 and divide it by 4. And that's about 183 grams of carbs. So these are her macros: 204 protein, 183 carb, 50 fat. That's so simple, right? And again, if you need help with your own numbers, drop your details in the comments. Give me your gender, your age, your weight, your height, and how often you train each week. I'll try and help as many of you in the first 48 hours of this video going live. All I ask, just give the video with a gentle thumbs up. I'll do my best for you. So these are some pro tips. Remember that the calories you get is just a guide. It's all theory. You need to put the theory into practice. And this is where the real magic happens, when it comes to the exact foods that you're eating every day. And remember, consistency beats perfection. So let's talk to my wife about how she ended up building her meal plan.
So in the beginning, while I still had quite a lot of calories to play with.
Was it a lot of food for you, the 1600?
I think it's the comfortable amount of food for me. And I had 3 meals. The first one would be something with eggs for the morning, right? It gives you quite a lot of volume, low fat. So some sort of egg whites with maybe 1 full egg with some veggies. I like veggies. And that would be the breakfast meal, right? To also be able to spread out the protein throughout the day. The second meal would probably be a piece of salmon, white high fat, and then maybe potatoes. carbs. And then for dinner, I would probably have some sort of white fish or chicken breast, bit of rice, and a big salad bowl.
So most of my clients enjoy a 3-meal frequency, right? And this is our logic. We want 1 meal for enjoyment, 1 meal for sustainability, and 1 meal for performance. So for example, for me, my performance meal is pumpkin. It's high volume, it is low glycemic index, and it keeps me very full with grilled barbecue steak, right, for my protein source. My stability meal, which keeps me going for months on end, is I eat 4 wraps with chicken in there, and my enjoyment meal is I eat an ice cream every day. So I want you to remember this formula forever because it's going to show you how to build your own plan. This formula is called 2, 6, 8, 10 equals 50 grams of protein, which means 2 scoops in the 2, 6, 8, 10 of whey protein is equal to 50 grams of protein. 6 ounces of cooked chicken breast equals 50 grams of protein. 8 ounces of cooked steak equals 50 grams of protein. And 10 ounces of white fish is equal to 50 grams of protein. So let's say for Sandra's sake, she's 200 pounds. So if she, for example, had 2 scoops of the whey protein for breakfast. For lunch, she had maybe chicken breast and sweet potatoes, right? There she already has 50 and 50, that's 100. For dinner, she decided to have white fish, right? And maybe veggies. And then as a snack, she decided, you know what? I want to just have steak, for example. Those 4 meals in those quantities will give her 200 grams. In my wife's case, she's going to eat 125 grams. She could say, okay, instead of having 2 scoops, which will give me 50, I'm going to just have 1, that's 25 grams. And then for lunch, she decided that I'm going to have a steak of 8 ounces. And then for dinner, she's going to have white fish with maybe some rice. And there you go. She's going to have 125 grams of protein. Let's move on for carbs. The same formula. So 2 cups of cooked rice, 50 grams of carbs, 6 ounces of sweet potato, that's going to give you 50 grams of carbs, 8 ounces of cooked pasta, 50 grams of carbs, and finally 10 ounces of oats gives you 50 grams of carbs. So now you can use this simple framework to build your own plan. So for example, you can decide, okay, for breakfast, I'm gonna have 10 ounces of oatmeal with 1 scoop of protein. Let's say this is for my wife. For lunch, I'm going to have 6 ounces of chicken breast, and I'm gonna also have 2 cups of rice, for example. And then for dinner, she may decide, you know what I want is 6 ounces of sweet potatoes and 8 ounces of steak. And voila, there you go. So now you have a simple framework. But I'm gonna transition to show you Sandra's meal plan, and you can copy all the different recipes on the computer.
What did you feel in the program, the 3 things that had the biggest impact on you?
Oh, definitely the diet plan. 100%. Just having like meal plan for like 7 days, and I can pick whichever day like I want to and be like, I'm feeling more of this today, or like, I want to go this day and I like that day, I'm going to do it again because I've done that. Yeah, 100%. Like just having that and not having to think about like, what am I going to make today? It's like right there.
Tell me, Sandra, what are the 4 favorite meals you've had in this program?
The French toast. I liked French toast like growing up, and I don't know why I never like really had it. I definitely love like the beef tacos. Yeah, like hands down, I enjoy that meal. One of a more recent meal that like we have is like steak, potatoes, and it was corn. We switched it to butternut squash.
So now you may be asking, Dr. Mike, how do I know if this is working? So do you think that you're using the bathroom scale correctly? You might not be. So what I want you to do is this. You're weighing yourself right now once a week or even less, and this can backfire. But why? Because when you weigh yourself, you might catch yourself on a day when your weight temporarily spikes, and that makes you believe that you're not making progress even when you are. So this is a better way to do it. Step on the scale every morning as soon as you wake up. Wear no clothing if you can, or at least underwear. Do it before you eat or drink anything, and make sure that you've used the bathroom first. And I want you to keep this up for 14 days straight. Then calculate the average of the first 7 days and compare it to the average of the last 7 days. That difference will give you a much more accurate picture of if you're truly losing weight. And what I also want you to do is I want you to take a picture that first Monday and the second Monday and compare the picture. And to take it to another level, I want you also to do body tape measurements. And I like using a Renfo tape. And what may happen is you may measure your biceps and you see that your biceps are going up in size. And then you measure your waist and you see that your waist size is coming down by a few inches. And that tells you one thing: you're building muscle and you're losing fat. And what I also want you to do is to track your monthly cycle, because this can explain if you're having cravings. 2 weeks leading up to your period, it is normal for your weight to creep up. It's normal to have some cravings or to be low energy, but you could still be losing fat. And look at our client Trish, 44 years young, and she finally saw her abs after dropping 25 pounds. So I'm going to transition to that conversation with me and my wife about navigating the diet.
What was the diet that you followed? Let's start with your macros in the beginning. What was that?
So my calories were 1,650 calories. Do you want me to tell you the macros?
Yeah.
Yes. So the macros were 125 grams of protein, 50 grams of fats, and then I had 175 grams of carbohydrates.
So you went from 1,600. What was the lowest that I ended up giving you?
It was 1,250 calories. And that's the point where I went to eating 2 meals.
Right.
3, just because it wasn't making sense having 3 tiny meals.
Right. So go through that stepwise process, right? If you're at 1,600, decrease it by 100. In Sandra's case, we decreased it by 150. And you need to have this strategy in place. So the first calories you'll calculate, it's fine for you to feel full. Sometimes it will feel like, wow, this is so much food, but you need to get your metabolism going.
But very often, our ladies are truly losing weight. But remember, you have to take into consideration your period. You also have to take into consideration that you may be building muscle and losing fat. And the tape measurement and the photos can give you a clear picture versus just relying on your physique. And look at my client Trish, 44 years young, who finally saw her abs, and look at her confidence and dropping 25 pounds of fat. She actually did this with her husband, Brent, and they just look like they were reversed in age. And I want to take a quick opportunity to invite all the ladies out there to be able to potentially work with me and my team of medical doctors. We have 3 amazing doctors who are the leaders in my team to be able to help you lose weight. So if you're over the age of 35, you've tried many different things. You've tried some of the stuff that I've mentioned. I always consider Sculpt by Science that in case of emergency break glass. What we do is we'll diagnose your health, we pull bloods and we do a full blood panel, and this will tell us if we need to do any additional medical diagnostics. We build out an entire plan crafted on your experience, your medical background, and we will help you drop the 20, 30, even 40 pounds like we've done for all our clients. All you need to do is go into the description of the video and fill out the application if you want to finally get your hourglass physique. I'll see you on the other side. Let's move on into mechanical rule number 3, the hourglass training plan. Let's talk about building muscle.
To get that hourglass figure, how many times did you train?
4 times a week.
Got it. What was that split like?
Right. So I would do 3 lower body days and 1 upper body.
That's the big difference between training with men and women, is just where do you distribute your time and volume? What are you going to focus on? Like if men wanted big booties, they could literally train 3 times a week if they want. But for the hourglass figure, what we wanted to focus on with my wife was adding a bit of mass onto the shoulders. That's the beginning of your hourglass figure. And if you think about it, you want your nice back to carve in. And if you think about it, your shoulders or bigger shoulders give you this appearance of a smaller waist automatically, and it doesn't make you look manly. When you started training, were you afraid that you're going to look bulky?
I think all women are a bit afraid of it. And I think it goes away as you actually start exercising and you realize how hard it is to build muscle as a woman. And whenever you see women with a lot of muscle tissue, that was intentional. It did not happen by accident. So that fear goes away and you realize that actually you wouldn't mind a bit more muscle tissue.
Yeah. And in my wife's case, We did the 1 upper body and then the 3 lower body. And if you think about it, one day to build the upper body part of the hourglass, the diet is going to be responsible for shrinking the waist. And then the training is going to be responsible for really developing the lower body as well, giving you that hourglass figure, really spending time on glute exercises, quad exercises. And right now I am giving you my wife's training plan that I built for her. Let me ask you this. What about intensity? Like, how hard were you training?
I train very hard. So especially with the lower body, right? I want to push to the point where I see the muscles shaking.
She trains hard.
By the end of the set, right? So I can maybe do 1 more rep, maybe, but that would be with really bad form failure. So basically that would be what's like a 90% intensity. 80 to 90, it really depends also on how you feel in the moment, because you will be stronger on one days of the cycle and you will be a bit weaker on the other days of the cycle.
But you do want to train with intensity. You can get away with 4 training sessions. You can do 3 if you like. The range I like with my ladies is a minimum of 3, a maximum of 6, because you do need to recover. The beautiful thing about you guys is that you recover a lot quicker than men.
And we'll also utilize fats a bit better for energy, which also allows us to have a bit nicer meal plan, in my opinion.
Yeah. Mechanical rule number 4, the cardio accelerator. The way I look at cardio is, if you've ever watched Fast and the Furious, and if you're a lady, probably not, but think of it when you press the nitrous button. This is going to help accelerate your fat loss. We don't want to do too much. We don't want to do too little. The cardio is supposed to be a tool to really increase the amount of fat that you burn. How we're going to talk about cardio is 2 formats. We're going to talk about informal cardio and formal cardio. So let's talk informal cardio. How many steps did I give you in the beginning?
It was 10,000 steps.
At the low end?
Yes, mind you, I was walking less before that. So it was actually an increase. It was 10,000 steps plus 2 sessions of official cardio.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So you started at 10,000.
Yes.
And over time, what was the highest amount of steps you got to? 16,000. All right.
Yes.
So that was the range. And what we would do is just increase the steps about every 2 weeks by 1,000 is roughly where it would be. So you can start as little as 10,000 and increase. That's a safe number. Now let's talk about formal cardio. So this again is focusing on a target heart rate, how often she does it during the week, and how long. So tell us, what was the beginning? What was the first formal cardio you did?
It was 2 sessions of 15 minutes.
Okay, only 15 minutes. That's a nice starting point.
Right, so it was essentially 30 minutes in total.
Yeah, per the week.
Yes, and then we increased it up until 100 minutes in a week, which would be broken into 4 sessions of 25 minutes.
And what was your target heart rate?
Between 130 and 140 beats per minute.
130 and 140, right? That is usually around zone 2 heart rate for women. Now, the big difference between women and men is that we need to take care of stress, right? Remember, you can have emotional stress, but you can also have physical stress. So men can get away with doing a lot more stressful things to their body without raising their cortisol too high. So with ladies, we like being a bit more conservative with the amount of formal cardio that we add and the steps. So my advice to you, first focus on steps. Try and get your steps as high as you can, right? Go from 10K to 11K to 12K, because it's less stressful on your joints. It's less stressful on your body. And then when you really want to turn it up, then we can add little formal cardio. So that's why with men, we'll normally do 3 sessions of 20 minutes in the beginning. With ladies, I like starting at 2 sessions of 15 minutes and then working our way up that way, because it can be stressful on your body. And that's everything with cardio. On the screen right now, this is Sandra's cardio plan, and you can just literally follow the same for yourself. The final part, but I think it's the most important for women especially, is sleep and stress. How many hours do you sleep?
I sleep on average between 7.5 and 8.5. I do notice that on the days of my period, I actually do need more sleep to recover better.
Did you notice how hard it was losing weight when you're sleeping less?
Definitely. When you sleep less, you feel much more hungry. You see the weight go up on the scale. It's just, everything sucks.
It's so much harder. You're playing the game on hard mode. And the next thing is stress. And I really want to talk about this. stress affects women so much more and their ability to lose weight or not. So from mental stress, I highly recommend meditating. I highly recommend going on walks. I highly recommend journaling. Anything you do for stress, if you're stressed, you're helping me run the company. I'm sure the stress is high.
Actually, spending time with dogs helps to reduce the stress. Like if you feel stressed, you can go and pet them and hug them. And I do think that it probably naturally, like you start producing oxytocin, all those good hormones, and it brings down the stress.
If you find that you're very stressed, look at avenues like maybe using the Calm app. There's many stress relieving exercises there. And then on the sleep front, I highly recommend following a protocol that we give. 10 hours, it's called 10-3-2-1. 10 hours before bed, make sure you stop drinking the coffee. 3 hours before bed, make sure that's your last meal. 2 hours before bed, we want to just start sipping our drinks or sipping our water instead of chugging it down. We don't want to be waking up to use the bathroom. Then 1 hour before bed, wear a blue light blocking glass. It's this amber glass that will stop the blue light from entering. This will allow you to fall asleep easier. Do get them. They're very easy. You can use TrueDark, Sleep ZM, or just literally on Amazon, type in blue light blocking glasses. Just make sure they're amber color. That's what blocks the blue light from coming through. Those are the 5 mechanical rules. Let us know in the comments if you guys want more of these. With my wife featured, she has amazing experience because she's seen every transformation go through the door. She's been a part of Sculpt by Science, so she's amazing. But let us know if you guys want more of these. Everything is linked in the description that I've promised you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.